Hey, this is Chuck Lemire from Bob Corcoran and Associates, and I'm here with my friend and colleague, Bob Corcoran, and we're here with another Corcoran tip of the week. Bob, I usually give the title of the tip of the week, or it's a question. This time, it's a little quiz because I used to start seminars with this question. What is the significance of 1,440? Why is that number significant to us as real estate professionals?
1,440. Is that what you asked?
Yeah, not 43,560. We know the significance of that number. This one's 1,440.
Folks, I don't know about you. Listen, I don't know the significance of either of those numbers.
Uh,
Is the 1440, is that an IRS form?
40, yeah, good guess. I love that one. That's a great one. And that's, we all hate those days. 43,560 is square feet in an acre.
Ah,
Oh,
okay.
all right.
Uh,
And
Ed, there you just educated a lot of our viewers today, Chuck.
and 1,440 is the number of minutes in a day.
Ooh.
Because our tip of the week is time management, topic we all love to hate because I've learned you can't manage people, right? It's like herding cats. You can manage money, you
Yeah.
know, but you can't manage time. And that's the significance of 1440 because we're all given the same amount of minutes by the Lord and Creator. What we choose to do with those minutes determines often the difference between success and failure. So today's tip of the week, Bob, is how do we as real estate professionals make most effective use of our 1,040 minutes in a day? How do we manage our time?
Mm, mm. This is a topic that's near and dear to my heart. I've always been an efficiency expert, no matter what career I was in, first career, second, and this career. But at the end of the day, my acronym for time is this is my excuse. Chuck, we have time to do anything we want if we want it bad enough. So, folks, think about that. This is my excuse. You have time to do anything you want if you want it bad enough. So, having said that, what I'm a firm believer in is an ideal weekly schedule.
Yep.
I believe in this is so contrary to the real estate philosophy of, well, clients can't fit my schedule. That's bullshit.
Well, why weekly, not daily, Bob?
Well, I start with a weekly schedule, Chuck. Okay, that lays out every single day. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'm doing office work. At 8:30, I'm doing follow-up calls. At 9:30, I'm doing prospecting or lead follow. Something. Put together yourself an ideal weekly schedule of all the tasks. Because as a real estate agent, Chuck, they get paid to do only four things that make them money: list, prospect, sell, negotiate. Folks, those are the only four things you do that make you money. You put together an ideal weekly schedule for yourself every day. Monday, here's what I'm going to do in 30-minute increments. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever. Put it together. The second thing I would require or ask, hold yourself accountable to that schedule. How are you going to do that? How are you
Right.
going to know you're following your schedule? That's why we always embrace with all of our clients the daily activity record. Keep a manual record. Yes, folks, manual. Sometimes old school is better than new school. I've had many clients who want to take the daily activity record, check, and put it online. Here's what I found. Especially if you have a team, when a buyer agent gets done at the end of the day and it's an online form, they go back at the end of the day and fill in their schedule. Never works. It's never
Correct.
accurate. Go back to old school. Manual piece of paper, daily activity record. You said it at 8 o'clock in the morning, you were doing office work. Did you start at 8?
Yep.
The key is when you have an ideal weekly schedule and you hold yourself accountable, give yourself 30 days, 4 weeks to go through your ideal weekly schedule and using a daily activity record. At the end of 4 weeks, go back. Here are the last four: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right? Analyze my schedule said office work at 8 a.m. Oh, you didn't start work for the last 4 weeks till 10. What
Well,
needs to happen, Chuck?
I had to get my latte and, pick up my dry cleaning.
Then you are not the CEO of your freaking corporation. Okay, folks? You are the CEO of a corporation. You got to take this seriously. You can make a lot of money in this business not working a lot of hours. I have clients, Chuck, making over $2-3 million a year, working less than 30 hours a week. How do they do it? Time management.
So you
Yeah,
talked a lot about the business time management, Bob, of making sure that, we carve out time each day for prospecting
yeah.
or schedule our appointments. How about your own personal time? Where does that go in that schedule?
You're the CEO of a business, okay? Do you approach this business as the CEO is my first question. Okay. And there are different types of CEOs. There's full-time CEOs, part-time CEOs. If you only work real estate 20 hours a week, be the CEO of 20 hours a week and only do business related activities, folks.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I'm talking about though, I'll add in like God's my CEO. Right, but
Oh, well,
I'm the
hey,
CEO of my business. So when I go to set my schedule and I do just like you're talking about, I do it in writing on a daily report. I start with prayer in the morning. So I start my schedule with prayer and nothing gets in the way of that. And then I put my own schedule in there
there you go.
because in my book it goes God, self, family, real estate. It does not go real estate, God, family, self.
Yo, Chuck, I love that analogy. And you and I are cut from the same cloth. Because, all the time, you know this from the time you met me. I said, number one CEO in my life was Jesus Christ, right? Or God.
Correct.
Okay. Second was Bob. Third was my wife, Brenda. People said, why do you put yourself ahead of Brenda? And I say, if I'm not happy with Bob, how can Brenda be happy with me?
Right.
This is why it's always important with time management, like having a huddle with your wife every morning.
Right.
What a freaking concept, Chuck.
Yeah. Let's give our listeners an idea of what we mean by time management mixed with a little bit of accountability. If you asked me to do something, you said, Chuck, can you do this task? And I said to you, yeah, Bob, I can get that done tomorrow sometime. What would you say?
Yeah, it's not going to cut with me.
Mhm.
Okay, folks,
Hi.
it's all about deadlines.
Mhm.
Okay, Chuck says I can get it done maybe tomorrow. Maybe, Luke, loose word, right?
Right.
See, in our company, Chuck, you know this for years, our deadlines were always 3 o'clock. By 3 o'clock every day, Monday through Thursday. Oh, why not Monday through Friday? No Friday deadlines. Because what happens on Friday deadlines, Chuck?
They get missed because it's towards the weekend.
And so who's pissed the whole weekend?
Everybody.
Yeah, especially the CEO.
Correct.
So we always say institute things that are going to help you run your business. No deadline past 3 o'clock every day. Why? If you do an end of day, they don't do it. You're upset as CEO. By 3 o'clock, you might remember they owe you the deadline.
Right. Now, if I asked you in reverse and you said, yeah, I can get it done, tomorrow, sometime tomorrow, I would say, Bob, can you get it done by 3 o'clock? Now, you
Exactly.
had your written schedule in front of you and you had commitments, you may not be able to get it done by 3 o'clock.
Then tell me that.
Right. So what does it do? It goes to Thursday. And you can
That's
hit return.
okay.
Right. So I'll get it done by 10 o'clock on Thursday.
That's right. You can't do it by 3 o'clock on Wednesday. How about Chuck by 10 o'clock on Wednesday?
I can do.
Folks, close your loops in communication. If, as a CEO, you give a directive, and I don't care, folks, if you're talking to a team member or a client, always have a deadline. If you're calling a client, say, hey, Chuck, hey, we got an offer on the property. Okay, the offer is good till 6 o'clock tonight. I need to talk to you in the next hour. Keep honing your time frame in to fit your schedule so you can achieve the goal you want for yourself and your client. Does that make sense?
I think it makes perfect sense, Bob. Here's the one thing that I've found that really ruins it, and we'll close out on this. People do set their own personal time. And then a call comes in from a buyer that says, I want to see the house at that time. And what do 100% of most realtors do?
We call them Pop-Tart realtors.
Right. They say, fine. They sacrifice their own time and everything starts to deteriorate from there.
That's
You,
bad.
if you had another showing, you can't schedule a showing because you already have an appointment. You get that because you've committed to another individual. But if you've scheduled prospecting, generally speaking, most realtors would not prospect that go on the other showing because it's income related. But even that's a violation and a deterioration of your schedule.
Well, yeah, but Chuck, I'll disagree with you.
Okay.
As an agent, I get paid to list, prospect, sell, negotiate. If I put together an ideal weekly schedule that has prospecting time, appointment time, right, in my schedule, I can replace one DPA with another. So, Chuck, where you say, yeah, if I'm prospect and the buyer calls up and says they'd like to see the house at 1, I'll show the house. I can flip it. But folks, got to do the reverse. So if you have appointment time scheduled and you have no appointments, you got to prospect or lead follow-up, Chuck.
Yeah, great point.
That's the key right there.
And that's what agents don't do. What they generally do is show the house and then they go get another latte.
Right. Folks, are you a professional? Do you want to make millions? Or are you just going through the motions? I get so aggravated by that.
Yeah, it's their decision. We can't
hear you.
For them, right?
Yeah.
Well, thanks for a great tip of the week. Guys, if you want more, you can click on the link below in this email. You can go to our website at bobcorcoran.com, and there are other tips from other weeks. And also, there's a button that says set up an appointment. And if you wanted to talk to Bob or I for 30 minutes about your business, we'd be happy to do so. So I hope you enjoyed this week's tip of the week, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Chuck. Love you, folks. Bye-bye.